We sometimes think in business development that the point where the client really tilts across and is about to make a purchasing decision is when we do the presentation. I personally believe that it's a step before that really moves the needle for the client. Done well, of course. That step is called qualifying, which is the art of asking probing questions that help to uncover and make a pressing problem raise to the surface, that makes sure the client understands not the relevance of that, but also helps the clients to quantify it, so that urgency is being built in that moment with specific numbers against it. Let me give you an example. Sometimes we ask these questions in terms of, if you could wave a magic wand, what would be different in your business tomorrow that right now you haven't got today? That would be a very probing question to using the magic wand formula. But all of these probing questions typically start with what, who, when, where, how, tell me, that sort of thing, and why. Any of those questions help the client to open up, help them to share a lot of information with you, information that will be helpful when you look at it later on in terms of the solution you put forward. And then also, I think the great value that these questions drive is they really help the client to identify with the problem and help to bring the problem to the surface, to really in their face, which is important, because if you really want to be a trusted advisor and add value, it's obviously to the extent that we're in a position to narrow down the scope and the attention on that, but also drive some urgency behind it, because sometimes people don't want to see it. They don't want to, be confronted with something that needs attention. Sometimes, there's all sorts of feelings involved with it. There's procrastination happening and all of that sort of stuff. But guess what? If you ask now a question, for example, tell me, in your business, knowing that you haven't undertaken anything, how would you say that, how much costs would have accrued since then by not doing anything at all, right? And the other thing is, who will be affected? Whose support will you require in order to get the solution off the ground? Who would be actually affected by undertaking this one? Who would be the stakeholders that we really need to be aware of and include in this process of, the initial stages? The other question that you would ask for as well is then, okay, if there's anything that stands in the way right now, what is it really that, keeps you away from making that decision? Those are all questions that are very, very good to ask. I personally love the qualifying bit. I believe that if we're a doctor in selling or a psychologist, where we coach our clients to get the insights, to put measures against it, and that creating the urgency, I think that's where we really are making the sale. So for example, last but not least, one great question is, by doing this really well, over the next 12 months, what sort of cost will be able to save on done well? You start then listing all those costs, you add them all up, at the end of which you say, are you now saying me that if we add all these costs up, that we will be saving X amount of dollars in the first year alone? That's a probing question. My name is Bram. Any thoughts or questions on qualifying, please post them below. Have a great day. Bye-bye.